On today's video, I'm going to be talking about the youngest serial killer in history who started killing at the age of 10. Her name is Mary Bell. She was born in May 26, 1957. And at the age of 10, she had already killed 2 boys. Mary Bell's mother, Elizabeth Bells, was a known local prostitute in the area, and she often leave her kids in the care of their father while she goes out of town to do work. When I say their father, I'm talking about Mary Bells and her older sister, because Mary Bells was like her second child. As a toddler, Mary Bells was usually seeing like bruises all over her body, which made the family believe that the mother is deliberately hurting the daughter. On one occasion, the family also said that Elizabeth had dropped her child Mary Bells from like the first floor window. The report says that Mary Bell hit her head so hard on the ground. I think that was where the whole psychopathy problem started from. The mother was also known to have given her sleeping pills. Mother has also tried to sell off Mary Bells to an unstable woman who is unable to have a child, resulting in the older sister traveling all the way across Newcastle to go bring her younger sister back. Despite all the negligence and shady things she's doing, she refused the family to even take care of Mary Bells because she was doing other things with, Mary Bells, like selling out the daughter to her clients. So due to abuse and I guess falling from the first floor window, Mary Bell started having this very bad, rude attitude in school. She would get herself into fights. On Saturday, 11th of May 1968, a 3-year-old boy was found around the vicinity holding his head. He was bleeding. He had blood all over his body. He later told the police that he was pushed. And he had followed Norma. Norma was Mary's friend. He had told police that Norma and Mary Bell had taken him to a roof and they were playing on the roof and he was pushed. He didn't know exactly who pushed him, but he had fallen, hitting his head, and that was why he was bleeding out. That same night, 3 mothers had actually reported to the police that this young girl, she was like 10 to 11 years old, had tried to strangle their daughters. Now, after this phone call, Norma and Mary Bell were brought into the police custody for interviews, or rather questioning. The 2 girls initially denied and said they had no business with the boy, that they simply saw him bleeding and they wanted to help him out. While they were investigating and asking more questions, Mary keeps denying it. I'm saying this 11-year-old girl was so strong in her lies that she refused to say anything. On further investigation, Norma told the police that Mary walked up to one of the girls and asked the girl that what happens if you choke somebody, is the person going to die? And she put her tiny hand on this person's neck and started squeezing. She put her other hand now on the next girl. Remember, these girls were smaller than her. I think they were like 3 years old. She put her hand on the second girl and started squeezing. She said she was pleading with Mary Bells to stop, that she was getting scared at that point. After Norma had said all this, the police informed the local authorities about this, but because she was just a small girl, everybody was like, maybe they were just playing, it's fine, she's just violent. They didn't really take it to anything. On May 25th, 1968, Mary Bell had killed her neighbor Martin Brown and kept his body like in a very, very weird position in an abandoned house. Now, it was believed that she carried out the crime alone. When the police came around, they didn't imagine that these 2 young kids were going to also come around there, and they tried to even shoot them away because these were kids. But even after the whole ordeal where they had like funeral and everything, Mary Bells was always going up to this neighbor's house to just ask random questions, like she wants to see Martins. And when you try to think, okay, maybe she's a child, maybe it's just trauma, she says yes, she knows, I know he's dead, but I want to see him in his coffin. Things like this were kind of weird, walking up to this neighbor's house to ask random questions, to talk about a lot of things. And at some point they just stopped answering the door for Mary because it was just, they knew that she was going to ask something weird or she was going to do something weird. Can't really do anything because this girl has always been showing a very violent behavior, and after all, the police didn't even keep her in cell, so they had to let it go. The following day, after the death of Martin Brown, they had vandalized a nursery and destroyed the place pretty much, and wrote out a lot of notes, a lot of things on the walls and on ground. And let me just read out some things that they wrote. Some of this note stated, "I murder so that I may come back." The other read, "We did murder Martin Brown, of you bastard." A third note simply read, "We murder, watch out." I didn't even understand what I read, but maybe if I read it in British accent. When the police were informed, again, they just wrote this as, pranks and childish behaviors from, whoever did it, because they didn't know it was this girl's. Now, it was believed that she carried out the crime alone. On the afternoon of July 31st, 1968, I think that was even the last time the parents saw Brian Howie. So Brian was playing with his dog, his sibling, Mary and Norma Bell. They had taken Brian to like this uncompleted building and had killed him there. When Brian did not return on time, the parent had gone on this little search looking for him. And when it was like past 11 p.m., the whole community were now looking for this boy. They saw his body, his dead body, in between like two concrete. So the police said Brian had died of strangulation, and I think they were trying to, whoever had killed him, but they didn't know who had killed him then, were trying to hide the body, but they did a very, very shabby job. What really struck was when, I read about how they also tortured him, because these kids actually tortured him a lot. Like, they mutilated his genitals, broke his legs. Mary had held his nostrils and used his other hand to like choke him. For a child, that is so mean. This time, the police were actually serious about investigating this. They just did not want to let this slide again. On the afternoon of August 4th, 1968, so all this were happening in just 1 year. Now, the parents of Norma Bell had taken her to the police station because she said she had something she wanted to confess. Now, she described how Mary Bell had taken her to the site where she killed Brian and had described to her how she enjoyed doing it and how she's going to continue doing it. The following day, she was arrested. So after the arrest of Mary Bell, she was jailed for 12 years. At the age of 24, she was released from prison, while Norma was free of all charges because she didn't really kill anybody. So that's the story of the youngest serial killer in history. Thank you so much for watching.